Hey guys, welcome back to Mama Dubay. I'm Shelby and I make videos all about motherhood, and in today's video I am going to be sharing what a week in the life of my sourdough starter is like. I am definitely not a sourdough professional. I actually do not do things the way that you're really supposed to do things, but I kind of wanted to make this video to show other people how easy it can be because, like I said, I don't complicate it in any way, shape, or form. I still to this day have not used a scale to make anything, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't because I may end up using a scale to make some things in the future. But anyway, I'm just saying that I make some really yummy things with sourdough starter and I keep it as simple as possible. So I guess this video is here to inspire you to try it. And if you know me, I'll give you some starter. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Today is Wednesday, January 18th, and this is what my starter looks like today. I fed it last night. So right now, as you can see, it's very bubbly. This is what I would consider active starter. I don't even weigh anything when it comes to my starter. So I add water and unbleached all-purpose flour to my starter to keep it alive. And this is what I want it to look like when it's active, when it's been fed. It's kind of like the consistency of pancake batter, I would say. I'm going to make pancakes this morning. Pancakes is a recipe where I don't spend any time letting the flour ferment or anything. I just mix it up, and the starter gives it a sourdough flavor. And then I might make bread today because I made bread last night for my in-laws and it was so good that I sent them home with some of it. So I'm trying to replace our normal bread in the pantry, so we're gonna need more bread. This is the recipe that I am going to be using. I honestly don't know whose recipe this is. It's not my original recipe. Probably Farmhouse on Boone or Little Spoon Farm. I'm not sure. Sorry. But I always add cinnamon and vanilla, sometimes nutmeg, to this recipe. So, yeah. Hey guys, so it's the same day and I completely spaced and forgot that I was filming this video. So I just added 2 tablespoons of flour and a splash of water, legitimately a splash of water, to my starter because I am low on starter. I probably would have just left it alone until I needed to use it again, but I wanted to make bread for my husband's stepdad. His birthday is tomorrow, and I wanted to make bread for him, and I just realized I wasn't going to have enough starter for that recipe. So I was like, oh, I'm going to feed it really quick so I can do that tonight. This is what it looks like now. So that's what the texture's like right now. And hopefully it will just like bubble up really quickly so that I can mix up the dough tonight. Hey guys, so I have to tell you this really quickly because it's 8:30 and I need to get the kids up. They're both still asleep, which is crazy. So last night I was going to start bread for my husband's stepdad, and the starter, I didn't have enough of it, and it wasn't as active as I wanted it to be, so I needed to feed it again. So I'll put that footage here of what the starter looked like and what I fed it. So I fed it, and then this morning, this is what the starter looks like. So this morning is when I actually made the bread. So I'm going to insert the footage of me making the bread, and then we'll get back to this moment right here where I'm going to do my first stretch and fold. Okay, so it's been a couple of hours since I mixed the bread together, and I'm gonna do a stretch and fold. I'm gonna do this a couple of times before I shape it and put it in a loaf pan. So it's just what I did that first time that I made this bread, and it turned out so great. I don't have specific times as to when to do the stretch and folds. I think the first time I did it after an hour, and then again after a few hours. I'm kind of doing that again today. So it's been about 2 hours since I mixed the dough. And you pull it up and fold it over. So just to remind you, I am not a professional when it comes to sourdough. I think that's what a stretch and fold looks like. That's what I've been doing. I feel like that dough was a little tighter, so it didn't fold as easily as the first time around. We'll see how this bread turns out. Hey guys, so it is now 12:05 and I am going to do stretch and folds one more time to this bread. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the pan so it can rise. I'm hoping to have this bread done today. It is, you know, we'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna get it done or not, but it just depends on how it rises. So I'm gonna put it in the warmest place to rise. And I have found inside the microwave is the warmest place. I'm going to cover this with saran wrap so that the towel doesn't touch the bread, and then I'm going to loosely cover it with a tea towel, a wet tea towel, and put it in the microwave just to sit and rise until it has basically doubled in size. And once it doubles in size, I'm going to slice it down the middle. I'm going to score it, and then it turns out to be this beautiful loaf of bread. So I am making a quiche for dinner tonight, and I'm going to use a little sourdough starter. So I didn't feed it after making bread this morning, and this is what my starter looks like at this point. I'm probably going to put half a cup of this in my egg mixture for the quiche. And it just kind of makes the quiche a little more firm, if that makes sense. And another use for sourdough, so it changes the texture. And it's really yummy. It is 6:15 tonight. It's Thursday night, and I am going to feed the starter now. This is after adding it to the quiche and using it to make bread today. So because I'm using it a lot right now, I am running into the issue of not having enough starter when I want it. So I'm gonna add a lot to it. And I'll show you how much is in there right now, what it looks like and all that before I add everything to it. So I do need to make a loaf of bread for my own family, so I probably will do that tomorrow. I don't normally make this much sourdough stuff in a week. I do challenge myself to use it once a week at least so that my starter stays nice and bubbly and active because I'll have to feed it. But I don't always use it this much. It might be because I'm filming this video, and it might just be because of the way the cookies crumbled. So anyway, I'm gonna feed it. As you can see, I don't ever measure. So when it comes to adding flour and water to my starter, my only rules are that I use unbleached all-purpose flour and that I use filtered water. So I just don't want to use tap water because of the chlorine in it, because that can kill your starter supposedly. Oh, is this what's bothering you? guys, so I am so sorry. I should have showed you the bread this morning and how I cut it down the center. That's how I scored it. So I baked it for about 35 minutes at 400 degrees, and this is how it came out. So I will be packaging it up for my husband's stepdad. And then I also wanted to show you what the starter looks like this morning after feeding it last night. So it is good to go. What you talking about, love bug? So I'm not showing me because it's 10:30 at night, but I did not use my starter today. And this is what it looks like. It is, there we go. And it's starting to get hungry, and if I'm going to use it tomorrow, I need to feed it tonight. So I want to make bread because I didn't do it today. I'm going to feed it with you. Hey guys, it is Sunday the 22nd, and I haven't touched my starter in I think a couple of days, and it's been on my counter. Now I will say you won't be able to do that in the summertime. In the summertime, you're going to want to put it in the refrigerator like if you don't use it in a day. So my starter did rise and it fell. I didn't give it any flour yesterday, so it's probably pretty hungry. This is what I would consider discard. So if you're reading a recipe that asks for sourdough discard, that means it's starter, and I'm not an expert, so if I'm wrong, tell me if you know. But as far as I know, discard is the starter before it's fed. So if you're needing active starter, then you need to feed it flour and wait like 4 to 6 hours. It needs to like double in size. It needs to poof up like you've seen before. This is what it looks like when it's just discard. And I have a lot, because if you remember, I fed it a lot because I needed a lot. It's kind of runny like that. Now, the recipe that I'm going to use today, I'm going to make sourdough pizza dough. And I have a recipe from heritageacre.com. I don't have the actual link, but that's what I wrote down when I made this. Also, this recipe has yeast in it. Normally I don't use yeast, so I'm just gonna skip that and hope that it rises properly by the time I need the sourdough for tonight. forgot I was filming, but I started to do a stretch and fold on this dough. I'm gonna do it a couple of times before I break it into 3 dough balls. One more hour and I'll do that again and separate it. Hey guys, so I wanted to remind you that I am still learning when it comes to this pizza dough. I've made it one time before the same way, where I did not include the yeast in the recipe, which this recipe calls for. I also don't have the recipe handy, so I don't have like all the instructions that I followed last time that I also didn't fully follow. I'll link the video that I'm talking about. It was during Vlogmas. So anyway, that's the last time I made this sourdough pizza. It is 3:08 and I last checked in with a stretch and fold at 1 o'clock. I haven't touched it since then. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to break it up into 3 crusts and then let them rise in that state. Should I have put them all in the same bowl? Probably not. But I like to do things the easy way, the simple way. So we're gonna let them rise again until it's time to eat them. Maybe an hour before we eat them, because I'm gonna have to par bake them before we add the toppings. And I'm thinking we're gonna make probably a barbecue chicken pizza, a chicken bacon ranch pizza. Oh, I'm excited about that one. And then just like a plain pepperoni and maybe bacon pizza. We'll see. Hey guys, so in case it's hard to tell, I've been sick for the past few days and we had some company. My cousin from out of town, my cousin from California was actually in town and I hadn't seen him in like 12 years, so I was a little distracted when it came to this video. But today is Tuesday, the 24th of January, and this is what the starter looks like. I did feed it yesterday just a few tablespoons of flour and a splash of water like you've seen me do before, and I did that because I didn't make the bread once again. But I did make, like the last thing you saw me make was that pizza dough, and I fed it and then didn't use it the next day like I had planned, and then fed it again yesterday, and today is Tuesday. So I'm gonna mix up some bread right now. I'm at the point where I actually need it because we're almost out of bread. So I'm gonna make bread, and I think that's all I'm gonna do today, and that will probably end the cycle for this video unless I make something tomorrow, which I guess I would throw in at the end. But I'm not going to show you the process. I might just wait and show you after it's mixed up my stretch and folds and all of that. So I'm going to use it to make some bread, and then I will feed the starter once again and put it in the refrigerator for it to sit until I need it again. So that's normally what I do when I'm not using it every single day. I don't typically leave it on my counter, and in the summertime when it's warmer, you can't leave it on the counter, because if you do, it'll be hungry all the time and you'll just have to keep feeding it and using it. I keep it in the refrigerator when the weather's a little bit warmer. So anyway, gonna make this bread real quick.